Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Lisa's Love and Light. Thank you all for being here today. How's everybody doing? I hope you all are doing well. Thank you for being here today. I told you guys, I told you I'm going to be, um, what's the word? I'm going to be proactive and I'm going to persevere through whatever I got going on so I can show up here on this channel. So I am doing it little by little. I hope you guys are doing well. Happy Thursday to you. And let's jump right in. The topic of discussion is why we have to heal. But before we jump into that topic, um, I am so relieved and thanking God because I told you guys yesterday I went to the doctor and I had some thyroid issues going on as to why my weight was going up and down and etc. And I got some good news yesterday. No, I got some good news about an hour ago from the doctor. And I was really concerned about certain things. But I have really been on this bandwagon of taking care of my health, physical and mental. And I've been working overtime to do that. And because I'm very serious about this. And that's why I show up on this channel and try to help others as well. Because this is no train ride. This is not easy. It's a lot of work. But I was willing to put in the work and I'm still willing to do whatever's necessary. And for a minute, it was like a borderline situation. And I found a way to get through it. I found some things uh, to really take care of my health and to, keep myself going. So the good news from the doctor was a blessing from God, because I trust Him in everything that I do. But even though I trust God, I can't sit back and ask God for something and sit and wait for it. I also have to work in accordance to what I'm asking for. But I'm just relieved with that. So, with that being said, I'm going to talk about. I'm going to take a minute to talk about what's on my mind. Um, I saw something last night. Oh, the Animal Planet channel I watch sometimes, and it made me think about my dog, and it really had me, really missing him. I miss him every day of my life, but this really had me missing him. Just thinking about the time I spent with him, and every morning when I stop into Cumberland Farms to get coffee and stuff, sometimes you see the same faces over and over again. So I see these men, they're talking, they're acting, macho and whatever, and they're saying a lot of macho things and blah blah this and that. You know, you know how guys get the same way women get when we get together, and so this guy I was talking to a lot, right? And we talk about different things. So one morning I saw him. He wasn't with the other guys. He was by himself in his truck, right? And he was like, I was watching him because he was like talking to somebody and he was being all gentle and soft. And I walked up to the passenger side of his truck and he had his dog in there. And I said to him, because he had his windows down, "You're not as macho as you act." And he goes, "Oh no, my dog." And he was like, taking care of, it's a girl dog, and he had her wrapped in a blanket to keep her warm. It was the cutest thing I ever saw. But I said, okay, I'm not going to tell your friends I saw this. And I told him, you probably treat the dog better than your wife. Some men do. But anyway, it was, it just brought tears to my eyes to see how much he loved his dog. One of the things I appreciate about living here in Massachusetts is how people love their animals, how people really love their pets. And I get it, and I love that, And I saw somebody else this morning taking care of her dog, and it was really cold out there this morning when I was driving through. She picked up the dog. It's a little dog, cutest thing I saw. And she had a coat around him and she was holding him, and it just brought tears to my eyes. And I think about Rocky. I had a pug, and I could swear this dog thought we were married or something. He was something else. Wait for me if I got home late. he'll be barking at me and doing stuff, and it's like it's the funniest thing. One time he had did something because I came home late, right? And um I couldn't help it. I got caught up in the store or something because I like to make sure I got everything I need. When I came in, not only did he not so much of an accident, he did something else, and I was like pissed off. And I said, "What did you do?" And I kept going on and on. And he stood up out of the blue and started barking and barking and barking. And I started cracking up because I know he was telling me I was doing too much, right? And I was laughing. I miss spending time with him. I did silly stuff like watch A Dog's Purpose with him because I'm a real animal lover, especially dogs. And when he passed away, it was very difficult for me to get through that. And just thinking about him and keeping his little spirit alive by just sharing. And anybody who lost the pet, keep that spirit alive and that pet, what that meant to you. I have a friend online that I talked to, and he still got a picture of him and his dog and the wife in the background. Like, I'm like, why are you and your wife not up front and you got the dog? And he just goes, shh, like that. And I'm like, yeah, I know that feeling about the dog because. And one day in the near future, I'm going to venture out and get another one, because pets are therapeutic people and they are essential to our healing. It's so important, spending time with them make you can do anything, because they're part of the family too. I thought I would just share that before getting into the topic of discussion for all pet lovers. Um, so the topic again is why we have to heal. It's very important when you decide to get on this path to heal to stay there and know that why it's important. And one of the reasons for me, I always talk from my point of view due to my experiences and everything that I've gone through and how um, the healing process has helped me to do better in life. Um, the choices I have an outline so I don't forget things I want to cover today. The choices in our life can outline our future. So, we have a choice between going down the right road or going to the left, you know, and whatever road we choose, there's going to be consequences. One road will lead to, good consequences, and the other not so good. So when you start to heal, you start to think about these things instead of just making impulsive decisions. I was one who would in the past just if it sounds good, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's go. Instead of taking the time as I do today to think about what is all involved in this decision. What am I getting out of it? What are the pros and what are the cons? It's just like, to me, it's just like everything in life. What are the pros? What are the cons? Do the cons outweigh the pros or vice versa? And then after going through all that, I may ponder over it some more and then I make a decision instead of in the past just making impulsive decisions with a lot of things. A relationship, oh, this person liked me. Hmm, let's see. Okay, you're single? I'm single too. Let's do this, just impulsively. And I don't do things that way anymore because as I got on this bandwagon, the hill, what I do is take my time, with everything because I want to weigh the pros and the cons. And if there's more toxicity than more balancing things out, then I don't want to do this. I had probably, let me see how long ago, maybe 6 or 7 months ago, maybe, yeah, about 6 months ago, ventured out and thought that I was going to date someone in particular. And then that person, like here, I don't use genders and things like that. Because I just talk as an overall, and I do that for a particular reason, but you'll find out in another video why I do that. But anyway, I did date, and as I started to talk to this person, they wanted to rush. rush the process. And I take my time, whatever I do. Let's do something fun. Let's go to a carnival. Let's hang out at a carnival. Let's play some games. Let's do something that's going to uplift our spirits and be funny and giddy and all that other stuff, right? And this person wanted to hop from A to Z. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm not in that energy. I don't make impulsive decisions. Let things, and I had said, let's let this happen naturally. If something is going to come from this, let it happen naturally. And then it'll all come together like pieces in a puzzle and you see the picture at the end, right? Let's do it like that. And a person kept trying to step on the accelerator with this thing. And I just said, I can't do this. I can't, because I'm a busy person. I have a job during the day and then I work online. I do some, I do this and I do some paperwork and some other stuff, right? And then still try to promote my third book. So I'm busy. And if I make the time to spend with you, that means I like you and I want to see where it's going to go. But if we got to get into this intense stuff right away, I'm not doing that. I don't do that. I've never been one in the past to do that. Always try to take my time with that. But I would be on a dating scene more than, I am today. And it's not because I can't or I don't have options. I do have options, but I am very slow when it comes to certain things because I like to take my time. And a person would know that I like them because I'll be interacting with you. And for me, time is everything because, time management and everything I got going on. So if I take the time to reach out and constantly and suggest certain things, then, I'm interested. But I have to go slow. And when the person didn't understand that, I just had to let that go. And I'm not one who's clingy anymore. I'm never codependent. I have people in the past who were codependent on me, which I don't like. The least I am today, what's different about me after doing some healing work is that I'm going to tell you how I feel about something instead of holding a grudge and keeping things inside and walking around like, you ever see anybody walk around with an attitude? Something's wrong. They're telling you it's nothing wrong, but it is, but they don't want to tell you because they're afraid of argument or whatever other reason, right? I used to do that but it wouldn't be an attitude. It would be like real quiet because I'm upset about something, whatever. I don't do that anymore. I'm going to tell you how I feel. And I'm going to say, we need to resolve this, find some ways. And I may throw something out there like, okay, here are the options on how we can resolve this issue we got going on. So multiple choice, A, B, C, or D, choose which one. And then we could talk about it. And when a person don't want to interact that way and they just want their way, I'm out. I'm not doing this. Because a relationship is supposed to enhance your life, not bring hell to it. And not breadcrumbing, love bombing, or fake love. I don't want none of that. So, and this is what I see a lot of out there. And so I just disconnect right away from that. What I look for is someone authentic because I'm being authentic, my authentic self, and so I take my time, with everything, even with like making certain decisions. And it's important. That's what I do different today as I'm on this path to heal it. And I tell people how I feel. I don't have to act. People think you always have to act out of character and do some crazy stuff to get people's attention. I'm not on that bandwagon. I've never really been one like that. I don't like drama. I don't like toxicity. I would tell you how I feel, and we could talk about it. And if a person still want to engage in a certain type of behavior, then I just disconnect from it. And I really do my best, people, to try, because I'm not perfect either. I have faults, I'll tell you one thing I used to do that I've changed tremendously, which was hard, is when I don't feel like it's funny now, but it really isn't funny, but I'm just going to make it humorous. When I don't feel like being bothered, I'm sorry, guys, but as I could think back on certain things I used to do, It's like I don't feel like being bothered with something, a certain, how you get a bunch of bills at one time and they all got to be sorted out and they got to be paid. And it's like, okay, I'll pay this one, get to the rest later, because I don't feel like being bothered with this. And because of that, later never comes sometimes, right? And then you get notices of this is what's going to happen if you don't pay and blah, blah. And I would get overwhelmed with that. Like, ugh, it's too much. And even though I have a situation, I just get to it because me, I'm a Virgo, so I think about everything. I was lost in thought and taking too much time thinking over things instead of just get it done. And so now I do that. Like today, I had to do stuff. Like, for example, I'll give you an example washing clothes. I can't stand going to the laundromat. I hate it. I hate it so much that sometimes I wait to the very last minute to take a pile, wait to clothes pile up, and then take them to the laundromat because I hate being in that environment. And then people, will take your cart while you go out to the bathroom or go somewhere and come right back, or your clothes, or, I just don't like that environment. But I've been forcing myself to just get it done during my break moments or whatever. Just don't think about it. Just do it and get it over with so you don't have to think about it. And that's how I started doing things like bills and things coming in and stuff. Just pay it, get it off the table. Those are some of the conversations I used to have with my mom. Just pay it, make sure you got your receipts. If you paid something to show that you paid it, blah, blah, this and that. And I just had this attitude when I was younger, guys, and before the healing process, I just don't want to be bothered. Phone calls, this, that, blah, 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 and it's like, yeah, I'll get to it. And I've learned to change that for the better. And a lot of that had to do with pondering and thoughts in my head about what, do this, organize this. And I don't do that. And even what happens to me now is like before bedtime, like I couldn't sleep because I would lay down and go to bed at a certain time because I get up real early in the morning, right? So I couldn't sleep because all these thoughts of what I had to do the next day, I was outlining in my mind and trying to alphabetize them and etc. and so forth. So what I did is started getting into herbal teas, and I brought some chamomile tea. And before I go to bed, take the chamomile tea an hour or so before I go to sleep because that calms me down and I don't have all these thoughts all night running through my head where I can't sleep. So I find ways, to make things work. And I want to do that. Whereas when before I started to get on the bandwagon, the hill, I didn't want to do any of that. I just let it be. And you can't let things be because stuff got to be taken care of. Well, you know what happens. You don't pay the bills, stuff gets turned off. I never had that problem. I would just do it at the very last minute or second before something is going to be shut down. And I don't do that now. I organize things. And when I would have a hard time in the beginning, as I started this process, I would pick up my phone, put some music on with the headset, and that will motivate me to do what I need to. Because I was all over the place, here and there, and I needed to focus on that, what needed to be done. So that's how I do that. When you start to heal people, you learn to take also accountability for any part that you played in any situation, in the past. Like if, accountability is a huge thing, you know, like if something went wrong, in any part of your life, and the part that you played in it to help that demise or to create that situation, take accountability, take accountability for it and forgive yourself. Because sometimes things happen, people don't forgive themselves, they just keep going on. When we take accountability, that's also part of our healing process, because nothing is ever 100% somebody else's fault. We contributed somehow in some way to whatever the situation is. Take accountability for the part that you played in it. And it took me a long time to learn that, but I've done that. And as I start to do that, then I start to heal, get better, because as I forgive myself, I can let that burden go now. Because remember yesterday or the day before, I described about carrying a ton of bricks on your back that's too heavy, too burdensome, and you climbing a mountain on top of that. Take some of them bricks off. Take those bricks off. So take those burdens off. And one way to do that is to forgive yourself, and to, you know, own up to anything that you've done to hurt somebody, etc., in the past, and let that go. Give it to God, like I do. Um, Look at life, instead of getting bitter by some things that happened to you in the past, or, etc. Look at life as a learning experience full of lessons to be learned. I was listening to radio earlier when I was driving, and this woman, they were talking about Valentine's Day yesterday. They were talking about love, etc. And oh, we are here to um, find a partner to procreate and stuff. And I started to automatically say that's not the priority, even though that may be the case to a certain degree. But not we are here to learn lessons. And once we learn the lesson, we can move on to, a new one. Lessons to be learned. Because when we don't learn them, we have to repeat them, you know. And lessons also humble us. Because some people walk around with egos and, strutting around. But when they learn lessons, it humbles you. And God will teach us lessons, no doubt. This is how you win. When you're doing a healing process, this is how you win. You forgive yourself, you take accountability, you forgive yourself for the part you played in any situation, and you keep moving on the bandwagon to heal. You keep going, and you understand that you're not perfect, and that you're going to have days where you feel good and you want to move forward, etc. Then you're going to have the days where you don't even feel like getting up out of bed. And if you don't beat yourself up for it. Just say to yourself that you're human. And if you fall down, get right back up the next day. Remember the song from the 80s, I get knocked down, but I get up again. Nothing's going to keep me down. Have that attitude. Keep going. One of the problems I had to deal with and had to learn, and sometimes still do, but I'm still working on it. No one has a right to be mad at you simply because you made a choice to heal and to make your life better. No one has a right to be mad at you because they didn't choose to do that. We all have choices, the same 24 hours in a day, and we all have options. If me and you were walking down a road and we were lost, and I say go to the right, right? And you went to the left, or vice versa. You tell me, and I went, and it was the wrong way, and I got deeper and deeper into the woods and lost. That's, I don't have a right to be mad at that person, because at the end of the day, I made the decision. With everything in life, when people talk about certain things in life, I said, but that situation became a problem, before that situation became a problem, it was a choice. You had the power to make a choice in a matter. What choices are we going to make to heal ourselves? It doesn't matter what the noise is around us, because the choice lies with us. Are we going to venture out and make a choice to heal our mental and physical health and make ourselves as a priority so that we can function in everyday life and everything? Or are we going to just sit back and hand our power over to the person next to us? I choose to make choices to stay on the bandwagon to heal, because that's important. Because like I always tell you guys, without healing, our physical or mental health, it suffers, it deteriorates. So how, if we're not good for ourselves, how can we be good for anybody else? If we don't love ourselves, can anyone else love us? When we nurture our inner child and love ourselves, we can give to a connection, whether it's a relationship, children, a job, whatever it is. But when we're mentally unbalanced and we can't heal because we're not trying to heal anything, it's just going to get worse. When you take care of yourself, it shows you love you. And even though this is going to be difficult, none of this is easy. It's just like when you go to school, right? And you go to college. You can't just sit in a classroom and at the end of the semester say, "Hand me my degree." You got to do the work. There's papers you got to present and give to professors. There's all this work and studying and etc. and so forth. And then at the end of it all, you walk down that aisle, you get that degree. Nobody is handing you a degree. Nobody's handing you anything. You got to do the work. And what's wrong with a few people is that they want it quick like a microwave. They want the abundance behind the work, but they don't want to do the work to get from A to B. That's not how this works. You got to put in the work. And the work is not easy. But I promise you, you will reward yourself at the end, because as you get on this bandwagon to do the work, you start to naturally want to take care of yourself. Like I just told you about the good report from the doctor. In the past, I didn't have time to go to doctors, the way I do now. And I take care of myself, make sure everything is good, and then make sure I do what's necessary so that I can take care of my health. And that's what I was lacking before. So, and pat yourself on the back when you do something good for you. Look in that mirror and tell yourself you deserve it. It doesn't matter what anybody else around you. But if you don't love yourself, people will see that too, And when you start to love on yourself, you don't accept just anything. This is why I always talk about taking your power back, because you have the control. It's in your hands what you want to do and how you want to navigate the ship. And one of the things I'm going to say here before I end this video today, is to therapy is the primary step. And that's the first step that I took. And everything else came afterward to this, bandwagon on healing, because therapy is going to help you make some decisions, and a therapist will help you to see things from a different perspective. And as your mindset change for the better, you're going to want to take care of yourself and do that, and please help other people, who are struggling with this so that they can make decisions to better their life, because the choice is in their hands. Well, and also please share this video with other people, who's suffering through grief and depression due to loss of loved ones or trauma situations, of that nature, and share this with them, because some people have a hard time talking about what they're going through, and that's okay. They can hear these experiences, and everything I'm talking to you about here has helped me to help myself. And these things work. I'm living proof, because I had to go through a lot of these things by myself. I didn't have the support system. I just had God. And believe me, I stayed in prayer, as I do all the time, with God to help me. And as he helped me, I started to help myself. Remember, nothing ventured is nothing gained. One day at a time. Just don't allow yourself to fall and stay there. Get back up again and keep going. Thank you all for listening to this video. Share this video with others. I'm going to have more messages, some are going to be real powerful and deep on certain days. And then other days it's just going to be fun. But people need to hear these messages, because they need to know there's help. They don't have to be in despair and feel hopeless. There's always help, and a way to get better and do better. Thank you for being here. This is Lisa, or I learned to turn my pain into power into a purpose, to be here to help other people so that they can do the same. Thank you again, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a great Thursday. Bye for now.